sell. And then
good gas mileage.
Good gas mileage.
Yeah.
And now, however, we're in the Cadillac.
Right.
Okay. Good to have you back, CB. Musso, a couple days off. If you've been with us, we've had some changes personnel-wise. So Monday, Musso goes to OTB permanently, and Brian Haldane, the Brain, will be back on AFR producing starting Monday. Hope you're having a good one. So by now, you've probably seen or heard just about, half hour ago or so, Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic was the first to drop this little nugget. It appears as though the Big Ten is looking at playing a conference-only schedule for football in 2020. A couple of things here that I think are most relevant. I want to read this tweet specifically for you, though. Here you go. This is from Nicole Auerbach. It was 2:07 p.m., so about a little less than an hour ago. The Big Ten is expected to announce today that it will go with a conference-only football schedule for this fall. A person with direct knowledge of the situation tells The Athletic College Football. So, couple of things. What it looks like they're going to do is add another Big Ten team. So they'll play 10 games. They'll play 10 Big Ten opponents, and they'll eliminate the non-conference games. I know what's happening right now because I'm watching it unfold on Twitter. I walked in here, and Hester and Hanny walked out, and they look like someone ran over their dog. And I know there's a lot of people right now that are going to look at this and go, oh, COVID. Are we actually going to have a season? Let's be very clear about this up front. They're telling you they're going to play, right? The Big Ten is saying, we're going to play. We're just going to play 10 games. Or we're going to play only Big Ten teams, but the reports are it's going to be 10 games. They'll add a cross-divisional. Each team will add a cross-divisional team. This is a brilliant play by the Big Ten. It's a very, very smart play. Yesterday, we talked about Stanford eliminating 11 sports. And I told you, Stanford has a $27.7 billion endowment. If any school in the country could fund 36 sports and not worry about losing $12 million this year, it's Stanford. Stanford could pay cash money to build SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, the $5 billion palace that the Rams and the Chargers are going to play at starting this year. They could spend $5 billion cash and still have roughly $23 billion left in their endowment. Stanford playing that off as, well, we're losing money, is baloney. Total horse hockey. They're losing money anyway. This is brilliant by the Big Ten. They're laying this at the feet of coronavirus. But what they're doing is making a financial play. Go back in time with me, or just follow me, okay? Follow me here. The NCAA tournament doesn't happen. So all of the shares from the NCAA basketball tournament don't get paid out. Huge financial loss. Conference basketball tournaments don't happen. Huge financial loss. Now you're looking at football potentially having limited or no fans in the stands, another financial loss. Top-line revenue that you won't generate that you're counting on. What these major conferences are looking at right now in the Power 5, obviously, is playing games, having them on TV, and being able to collect from their 9, 10-figure television media rights contracts and advertising revenue and other ways that they'll generate revenue, right? So here's how this all factors in. They're going to tell you, the Big Ten is going to say, well, the COVID, it's a safety play. We're trying to eliminate long-distance travel. You realize Rutgers and Nebraska are both in the Big Ten? You know how far it is from New Brunswick, New Jersey, to Lincoln, Nebraska? 1,289 miles. You trying to eliminate long-distance travel? Well, that's 1,200 miles. That's a 19-hour drive. Same conference. You know, Maryland and Minnesota are in the same league, right? From College Park, Maryland to Minneapolis is 1,105 miles. You're eliminating travel? But you realize one of the non-conference games that was going to happen in the Big Ten this year was Wisconsin and Notre Dame playing at Lambeau. So let me get this straight. Two teams within a couple hundred miles of Lambeau, they can't play, but you're eliminating long-distance travel, like Rutgers and Nebraska, 1,300 miles. Yo, this ain't a long-distance travel thing. Ultimately, you get on a plane, you go where you're going to go. You take what precautions you can. This is a financial play. This eliminates 2 rent-a-wins. Think of it this way. Week 1, Ohio State scheduled to play Bowling Green. Ohio State was scheduled to pay Bowling Green $1.4 million for that game. Okay. You're Ohio State. You're going to pay Bowling Green $1.4 million. Why did you schedule that game? Like, why do we have the rent-a-wins? Like, you know the answer. Like, you know the answer to this. Why do we have rent-a-wins? This is something, and this is something that I have screamed about for many years now. I wish we would eliminate the rent-a-wins altogether. I would rather a 10-game schedule of all Power 5 and no rent-a-wins than 12 games with the 2 rent-a-wins. I don't care about LSU playing Nichols. Sorry, CV. I don't care about Ohio State playing Bowling Green. I don't want to see. Nobody wants to see it. The only reason those games are played, singular, only reason, is money. Bowling Green needs the payout because that's how they fund their athletic department, and Ohio State gets a giant gate. They sell 100,000 tickets. They, $5 million of top line revenue or net, whatever it is, $4 or $5 million for a home game. Boom, bada bing. Well, if you're not going to have fans or a limited number of fans, you're not going to have the gate revenue. You're not going to sell the tickets. You're not going to have the concessions. You're not going to have the parking, but you still got to pay them $1.4 million to come. Well, if you're already losing money from the NCAA basketball tournament, the conference basketball tournament, and not having fans or a limited number of fans, now you're going to add another $1.4 million bill on top of that to pay Bowling Green to play a game that you only scheduled so you can make money, and now you can't make money? It's brilliant. But COVID, y'all. The travel. It's the travel thing. We can't do the long distance. We need to limit the... Y'all, do not be deceived. Like, it's what they're doing. And they're still telling you, we're going to play. We're just only going to play Big Ten games. It's brilliant. You don't have to pay your payouts. Like, okay. Now, the casualty, the thing that sucks, is we're not going to get Ohio State at Oregon. We're not going to get Michigan, Washington. We won't get Wisconsin, Notre Dame at Lambeau. Penn State was supposed to play Virginia Tech on the road, all on the road, by the way. Some pretty interesting non-conference games that won't happen now. Okay. I mean, that stinks. I'd like to have seen all those. We'll see if other leagues follow suit. But make no mistake, y'all, like, this is a financial play. And this is something that I have actually lobbied for years. And my hope, my sincere hope, is that if other leagues do this and go to a conference-only schedule and you eliminate the rent-a-wins, that becomes the permanent manner in which we schedule. I have no interest in the Power 5 funding the Group of 5 or the FCS. And every time I say this, I get fans of Group of 5 or FCS schools and say, but. And I'm sorry, I just don't care. I wish you well. I'll cheer for you. I will cheer for Nichols and Northwestern State and Southern and Grambling and Tech and ULM and the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Like, I want all of our state schools to do very well, but it's not LSU's job to fund you. It's no Power 5 job to fund you. It's on you to live within your means. If you're working a $40,000 a year job, don't go buy a luxury vehicle. Live within your means, man. I'd tell the same thing to the Group of 5. Live within your means. If your annual athletic budget is $18 million, don't pay your football coach $1.5. This isn't hard. Anyway, so a lot of people are going to react to this today and see that the Big Ten is playing a conference-only schedule, go, oh, COVID. It's just what Stanford did yesterday. They're using COVID as an opportunity to make a financial play, and that's what they're doing. It's what Stanford did yesterday, and it's what the Big Ten is doing here. This is a financial play. They eliminate costly rent-a-wins that are only on the schedule to be able to get a gate. Well, if you can't get the gate and you still got to pay them $1.4 million, whatever you're going to pay them, now you eliminate that cost. And in times where everybody's tightening the belt, that's a pretty good way to do it. So I applaud it. I mean, I'm actually really good with it. I don't have to pretend to care about Bowling Green and Ohio State in week 1. All right, it's that further review. We'll knock out a quick break. We're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Ed Ogeron was on WWL and talked to Bobby and Christian Garrick, and he had a much different tone than what you're hearing out of the Big Ten. I want to let you hear from Coach O on that. And Also, Greg Sankey was on ESPN Radio last night, and he kind of gave an update as well from the SEC's standpoint. So you'll hear from those two men next when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Finally, it feels like we got through a lot of that awful rainy weather. The thunderstorms that were here like every single day. With the weather getting a little bit nicer, quarantined at home or you're just doing your best not to get out and about, beautiful. Get out and about in your yard. Just plant something. Get by Clegg's Nursery. Go check out their full greenhouses. They got flowers and plants and trees and shrubs and Johnny Naylor seeds if you want to plant your own garden. Maybe you need the gardening tools. They've got you covered. They've even got those really cool, like really wide hats that gardeners wear to keep the sun off your face and your neck. They got that for you too. Like boots, all different kinds. Clegg's Nursery. They're also partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So anything that you'd get at a True Value Hardware Store, you can also get at Clegg, so it saves you a trip. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. They've been around for more than 60 years now. Buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in when you go see our friends at any of the 4 locations of Clegg's Nursery.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along here. Glad you're with us on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Make sure you watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. you can watch and you can jump in the chat there if you want to participate. You can always tweet us at Matt Moscona, at 1045ESPN. Email is there as well, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. So Greg Sankey, if you're just joining us, big news of the day is that the Big Ten, apparently according to multiple reports, first reported by Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic, the Big Ten is preparing a conference-only schedule. They would add a conference game, so a 10-game schedule, all Big Ten opponents. If you heard the open of the show, my feel is that is a financial play. It's a very smart one. It eliminates the very costly rent-a-wins that are only on the schedule for a giant payout. But if you have an empty stadium, then you're paying these rent-a-wins 7 figures for a game where you're not going to have fans. You're going to lose money. So it makes sense what the Big Ten is. They'll never position it that way. They'll position it as player safety, which is a total farce when you look at the distance that teams within the conference are going to travel. So I digress. I mean, what's the difference between hopping on a plane from Maryland to Nebraska or from Michigan to Washington? I mean, you're talking about something that's equidistant. Anyway, Greg Sankey last night was on ESPN Radio with Freddie and Fitzsimmons, and the big news yesterday was that the Ivy League decided not to play football this fall. And if you heard the show yesterday, my explanation there, as many understand, is that the Ivy League is unlike any other league with respect to the fact that they don't have to be governed by athletics, and they're also a league that does not have a very strong television contract. You're not talking about a very lucrative television contract. So the Ivy League is one of those leagues that's going to survive based on not survive because all those schools have more money than God, but financially their athletic department, their athletic revenue relies on the gate receipts. Well, if you're not going to allow fans in the stands, then you're just a losing proposition operating the business, and that's something apparently they're not willing to do. Same with Stanford, cutting sports. They got a $27 billion endowment. They can't fund a squash team? Of course they can. This is their out to get rid of something that's basically just eating away at their financials. So Greg Sankey was asked about the Ivy League decision last night on Freddie and Fitzsimmons, and here's what he said.
I don't think that the announcement today is any inflection point for decision making. Now, when you look at what's happening from the trend line with virus testing, with hospitalizations, with supplies and treatments, those are the real inflection points for us.
Not the Ivy League's decision. So as you know, we've talked about this so much, and I'm doing my best not to be. I really am sincerely trying not to be preachy. I want to do my best to inform, because I understand, like, I exist in this every single day professionally for hours every single day, and for many of you, it's 20 minutes on your commute home or water cooler talk. So I get it. So I'm doing my best to just try to make sure that I'm giving you the Cliffs Notes version, make sure we're all up to speed. If you remember from the onset of this, pretty much every Power 5 league made it known that everybody was going to make independent decisions, that there is no commissioner of college football. So there's not one person making a decision for everybody. Even the commissioners of the conferences aren't going to dictate what individual schools do. If you remember, James Franklin from Penn State said early on, we're going to play even if other schools in our league don't play. So you could literally see that league to league where some schools play and some don't. Some schools allow fans and others don't. What if some states are into phase 3 or 4 of the reopening and others are in phase 1? Well, you're going to have different regulations on gatherings in those specific states. So it really is going to vary, and that's what Greg Sankey's saying. Whatever the Ivy League decides to do has no bearing on what we and what our member institutions elect to do. And it makes sense because the SEC does have a gigantic television media rights deal with ESPN, with the SEC network, and CBS by extension. So just playing the games, even if there are no fans, is still going to generate a ton of top-line revenue for SEC schools, which is why they're all preparing to play and to move forward, which is something that Ed Ogeron said. Coach O was a guest with Bobby and Christian Garrick on WWL last evening, and he basically said, look, we're looking like we're going to play.
Yeah, but we plan to play. You know, the other stuff is out of our control. We have the full staff in here. We're planning for football school. We've made our practice schedules for August. We're filling in all of our scripts. We're doing all of our chords. We're going on as usual. We're playing. Now, you know, whatever happens, we've been told that all likelihood, we are playing. But if that changes, that's out of our control. But for right now, our team has a great mindset.
So Ed Ogeron, been told we're playing. I mean, that's been a consistent theme. Told we're playing. They're preparing as if they're playing. Ed also addressed the report from last month that upwards of 30 LSU players tested positive for COVID-19, something he says was not accurate.
Yeah, Shelley and Jack have done a tremendous job. I feel like we've given our players the best care that we have. We had a spike when everybody came in at first, and most of the stuff was coming from players going to Tiger Country, whatever they told them, whatever they call that place. I told them they can't go no more, or that's off limit. But you know what? We had a little spike. Shelley and those guys handled it well. Our numbers are way down. That number 30 was not correct. That was inaccurate. I don't know who said that. It wasn't that high. But we did have a little spike. Now it's going down. I think it's under control. I think that it's a fairly low number right now that we're very pleased with. And it looks like everything is going smooth for us.
Going smooth for us. It was never 30. Don't know how that got reported. It's a number we're pleased with. It's a very different message than what you hear from the blue checkmark mafia on Twitter. More on that in a second, but the guys did ask Ed Ogeron if spring football were a possibility.
I don't know. Obviously, that's out of my wheelhouse, man. I even think about that stuff. But if it does happen, we're going to prepare that. Whatever they give us, it doesn't matter. We have a mantra here. We don't blink. You just tell us where to play. It's in a cow pasture. It's at midnight. It's at 3 in the morning. We're going to go play.
Ed Ogeron, again, a guest on Sports Talk with Bobby and Christian Garrick last evening. So it's just a very, very different feeling listening to Ed talk or Greg Sankey talk as opposed to being a headline reader. And this is the thing that I've said and I'll continue to say and try to reiterate here, which is you can read headlines. You can cower at the will of the blue check mark mafia on social media, or you can listen to the decision makers. And that's what I've tried to do all along, is not worry so much what columnists think. I've not tried to worry so much about what people with the blue check mark mafia on social media, what they think, because what they think is irrelevant. What are the decision makers saying? The people who are going to ultimately make the decision as to whether or not a season happens and if progress happens. And you consistently hear this message. I mean, what the Big Ten said today is we're going to play. I mean, that is the biggest underlying takeaway. And nobody's mourning the loss of an Eastern Michigan game against Purdue. They've basically said, we're going to play. And what my message has been consistently all along since the very beginning of this has been, I'll wait. From the very onset of this, I've said, I'll wait. When everybody wanted to know, is there going to be a season? There's going to be fans in the stands? Are they going to play a modified season? Will they play in the spring? So, I don't know. There's one thing I've said consistently all along. There's one thing. They're going to play football. They're going to play football because they have to play football. The Big Ten's decision today, or the leaked news today from the Big Ten, is indicative of that. The Power Five is going to play football because they have to play football. What it looks like, I don't know. Will they start on time? Will they play an abbreviated schedule? Will they move back? Will there be fans in the stands? Some fans, empty, just TV? I don't know. I don't know those answers. But I think what the NFL has done is what college football is attempting to do, which is prepare as if everything's going to happen as normal. And along the way, when you meet a hurdle, adjust to continue on, like they did with the NFL draft. They continued on. They had the draft as scheduled, despite the fact that many of the blue check mark mafia kept telling them, oh, you can't have the draft. Well, they did. They did it virtually. They found a way. They found a solution. And I'll continue to remind you, look around, everybody. In studio, TBT is going on. The basketball tournament's going on in studio right now. of their own free will, you have human beings playing basketball. The NBA teams are in the bubble in Orlando. Major League Baseball is practicing again. You got soccer games happening. You've got golf happening. You've got UFC, and you've got other MMA promotions. You've got boxing, live boxing 2 nights a week. Sports are returning. NASCAR is back. Sports are returning, y'all. Like, everyone is playing. Like, why is it so hard to conceptualize football when everybody else is playing? You say, well, it's a contact sport. I'm looking at 10 men on a basketball floor all making contact with each other right now. Follow protocols, do it as safely as you possibly can, and proceed. Adjust as you have to. And that's the approach most everyone has taken. Yet with respect to football, for some reason, it seems as though there's like this drive by some to stop the progress. And I don't quite understand it because we've seen literally every other sport come back. All of them. They're all playing. Soccer, baseball, hockey, tennis, they're all basketball. They're all back. All of them. And football is going to as well. How it looks, I don't know. But the one thing I've said consistently all along throughout this, they're going to play football. How it looks, I don't know. But I'm willing to wait. We got 7 more weeks. So we'll see in 7 weeks. But they're going to play football. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Mike Detillier in 32 minutes from right now. We'll knock out a quick break, go around the SEC when we come back. It is a Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We'll certainly get Mike's thoughts on the Big Ten news today. And I got to get Mike's thoughts as well on the Saints gearing up for the return to camp. And also a lot of the news this week has been about Liam Shanahan out at LSU impressing and possibly taking over the starting job at center from Chasen Hines. We'll get Mike D's thoughts on that as well coming up in hour 2. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Ichiban. If you need dinner plans tonight, make it an Ichiban night. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. No better place than Ichiban if you're looking for the best sushi in Baton Rouge, and it's not me saying it, you saying it. For a decade straight, they've won the best sushi and the best of 225 awards, and last week, they won it again. Last Tuesday, when the best of 225 awards were announced, best sushi yet again, Ichiban. The reason is easy. If you go into Ichiban, look at the menu. Their extensive, diverse menu of specialty rolls is unmatched. And even if you don't like sushi or it's not your thing, they got so many options. Chicken yakitori. They got tuna steak with Asian pesto, pan-seared duck, 24-ounce bone-in ribeye. They got amazing options. And they've got the hibachi as well. So if you want an entertaining dining experience, you can do that at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. You can order online as well at ichibanbr.com. Whatever you do, make tonight an Ichiban night.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling with us. Really good question here on Twitter from @bird_Gunter. It said, Matt, if the rest of the Power 5 follows suit and play a 10-game conference-only schedule, how long until we hear a pitch for expanding the playoffs? Well, Bert, it's a really good question, a good point, but consider this. If everyone's playing a 10-game schedule, then theoretically, everyone has an equitable schedule. There's no need to expand the playoffs. You can still make a determination of who the best 4 teams are. The committee could gather the data from a 10-game schedule as opposed to a 12-game schedule where, in large part, you're eliminating 2 rental wins, like we've discussed ad nauseum so far. So it's a good question. I just don't think that it's I'm sure a lot of people are going to ask it. I just don't think that the college football playoff would be affected at all. I think the bigger question would be if you have leagues that play a full schedule. Let's say the SEC plays a full 12-game schedule, okay? And the Big Ten plays a 10-game schedule. Well, the SEC champ's going to get it anyway, but how does the committee weigh that? I think that is certainly a bigger question. But make no mistake, the reason primarily why the Big Ten would say, okay, we're going to add a game, or we have a 9-game schedule, but let's add one so it's 10, is so that they stay on par or ahead of every other league that plays their conference schedule and one Power 5 non-conference game, like the SEC. 8-game conference schedule, a mandate of 1 Power 5 non-conference schedule. So you have 9 Power 5 games. The Big Ten is guaranteeing themselves 10 Power 5 games. So make no mistake, y'all. These are smart people sitting in those rooms. These aren't people that are flippantly making any decision. All of these potential outcomes are being considered of how it would affect revenue, how it would affect potential seeding in the college football playoff. All of these things are being considered. And that's astute, but I don't think there's any doubt that part of that posturing is making sure that they have that lobbying point. And if you have a 10-0 Big Ten champion that played 10 Big Ten teams and a Big Ten championship game, they'd get in. ACC had a little bit of news today as well. The ACC says they're going to delay the start of competition for fall sports until September the 1st. This is going to affect several sports, including soccer and field hockey, but not football. You know what? You hear me say this all the time, right? Like maybe one of the best things that's going to come of this is that the things that I like just hammer over your head over and over and over that you all get sick of hearing me say, maybe this is starting to crystallize through all of this. The headline at ESPN.com is ACC delaying start of all fall sports until at least September the 1st. That would lead you to believe that they're delaying the start of football until September 1st, wouldn't it? Football activities. Like, wouldn't you, reading that headline, be led to believe that? And then it's all sports, but not football. Not noted in the headline, but this doesn't include football. So football can have an on-time start. They can have their preseason and have an on-time start. Y'all, I'm telling you, man. It's what I keep telling you. There's going to be football because there has to be football. And even with the ACC saying, we're delaying the start of all fall sports, except for football, because we need that to happen. Yeah, go tell Clemson, the rest of the country, they're going to play football, but you can't start on time. Told you. There is going to be, maybe for those among us who root for chaos, who want chaos in college athletics, because the more chaos there is, the more fragmentation there is, the more we might actually be able to end this absurd model that currently exists. That's just completely fraudulent. Maybe this is a really, really good opportunity to do that. Cheer for chaos. Cheer for some schools and leagues to play and others not. Cheer for some leagues to start on time and others not, and just create a whole bunch of chaos. And then maybe, just maybe, we might end this absurd notion of amateurism, create a czar of college football who governs the entirety of college football, and college players can get paid on their name, image, and likeness, and we can all go about our merry way and enjoy our football and our entertainment, and they can get theirs as well. All right, it's After Further Review. Brought to you by GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com. Since 1999, our friends at GMFS Mortgage, they've been changing lives all over Louisiana. GMFSmortgage.com is where you can find them online. Local lenders all over the state of Louisiana. Find the local lender nearest you if you're looking to buy a home, build a home, or refinance your mortgage. And really, you're probably not walking down the street going, I wonder if I should refinance my mortgage today. It's not like, hey, what should I have for lunch? I'll have a turkey club and I'll refinance my mortgage. It's not exactly what people think about all the time. So this is why I keep hitting this message right now, because the Fed has lowered interest rates. This is a moment in time. Rates are at historic low levels right now, the lowest they've ever been. Take advantage of this. The circumstance why this happened obviously is terrible, but it's happened and the moment is here. So if your interest rate is above a 4, call GMFS. Let them see if they can refinance your mortgage and lower your monthly mortgage payment. It's like giving yourself a raise. GMFSmortgage.com. Have your turkey club and call GMFS. GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives. Do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Florida and NC State have scheduled a home-and-home series in football for 2026 and 2032. Gators will go to Raleigh first, and then the Wolfpack led to Gainesville 6 years later. Programs have actually played 14 times in football. Florida with a 9-4-1 advantage, but the last time they played was 1992 in the Gator Bowl. Incredible. Florida's got home series scheduled now with Texas, Utah, Cal, Colorado, and Arizona State.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
A former Mississippi State commitment has flipped to the Crimson Tide. Kadarius Callaway, 3-star from Mississippi, committed in October to Joe Moorhead. Obviously, Moorhead is no longer the coach at Mississippi State. So Callaway, 6 foot, 210-pounder. He's listed as an athlete by the recruiting services. He's one of the top 10 players in the state of Mississippi for the class of 2021. Has flipped from Mississippi State to the Crimson Tide.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And Texas cornerback Chase Lowry. He's committed to Arkansas. 6 foot, 180. He's the 13th commit for Sam Pittman's class of 2021. Chose the Razorbacks over 7 other schools, including Michigan State, Purdue, Texas Tech, Oregon State, Pitt, Memphis, and San Diego State. He's a 3-star prospect, the number 81 cornerback nationally. Arkansas. That was 5 defensive players among its 13 commits. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. Online, GCOPnet.com. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. This is After Further Review. Mike Detillier, 19 minutes from right now, is a Thursday. We always enjoy our visits with Mike D. A lot of feedback, obviously, on what is the biggest story in sports right now, which is that the Big Ten has announced that let me correct myself. The Big Ten has not announced this. This is a report from multiple outlets, initially reported by The Athletic, since reported also by ESPN, that the Big Ten is preparing as if they are going to play a conference-only schedule. The word was likely to play a conference-only schedule. It has not been finalized or announced by the league as of yet, but that could come by the end of this week, so today or tomorrow, from the Big Ten. But it has not been formally announced by the Big Ten, but that is what is being reported right now by The Athletic, ESPN.com, and others. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Let's knock out our final break of hour number one. We'll come back this day in sports. We'll do Best Person in Sports, and also NFL with a really interesting decision today with how they plan to protect their players. Talk about that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $23.50 off MSRP on a 20 RAV4 XLE or lease a 20 RAV4 LE for $269 a month. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on the Thursday edition of AFR. Mike Detillier in 13 minutes from right now. So I completely forgot this morning to ask CV if he was going to prep this day in sports. And we're coming out of break, and I was like, because Musso does it, every day. I just know he's doing. And we're coming out of break. I was like, oh, CV, did you prep this? Did you prep this day in sports? And guys, yeah, I got it. Of course he does. So at this point, when Matthew Musso normally tells us what happened in the history of the world of sports on this day, we'll turn it on over to the OG AFR producer.
Thank you, Matt.
Cade Voisin, who will tell us what happened on this day in sports, set to the tune of horrendous music.
Oh, there is music for it. Fair enough. Did not know that.
Do you have it? Is it not there? It's a little piano, like weepy.
I do not have it.
Just play anything.
Okay. That's fair.
Just hit me with anything you got. Nailed it.
There we go. Okay,
Our generic music beds are awesome, aren't they, CV?
They are. They're licensed.
They're
They're
unlicensed.
Unlicensed, yeah. Well, we have the ability to use them for our platform. I did prep based on seeing this when I was delivered the sheet. So
Okay.
I found this for you, and I thought it was kind of timely at right now.
I'm ready.
1932, this day in history, the Washington Redskins, then the Boston Braves, were formed.
Got it.
Which is pretty timely because obviously the discussion right now is the name change for that organization.
The Washington Redskins were the Boston Braves?
Mm-hmm.
So they had a Braves football team, and because we all know there were the Milwaukee Braves that then went to Atlanta. So there were a Boston Braves football team. Why would you change from the Braves to the Redskins? Did you find that in your research, CV?
I did not. But, I didn't even think about it, the idea that you're using also a trademark in a sense of Native Americans.
Native
So,
Americans.
why would you go from one to there? Yeah.
And Braves is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
If all Native Americans want collectively every reference to Native Americans removed from team names, who am I to say what should or should not offend them? I don't to each their own. I'm not Native American, but I just think things like Braves, Chiefs, I think that's pretty kick-ass personally.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand. Redskins is derogatory. I totally get that. But Braves I think Braves is a really, really cool name. But
I saw
who am I?
on Twitter that someone wanted to go with the Washington Warriors
Yeah.
and use a similar color structure and an emblem and logo structure. I don't know.
Somebody said Red Tails, and they explained that was the
war,
the
planes?
Tuskegee Airmen, which winner. In my opinion, it's over. That should be it. That's phenomenal. And you're in D.C., the center of our democracy there. I mean,
100%.
That is such an obvious, nailed it answer. The Red Tails, do it. Do it yesterday. All right, what else you got, CV? You got another bed?
No, and that was the only story I had.
All right, there you go. He is the OG, Cade Wazan, hanging out with us for today and tomorrow while Musso is on a boat, and then Brain is back with us on Monday. So glad to have you hanging out here. Thursday edition of AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. Remember, all throughout the month of July, they are offering 2-for-1 laser hair removal. So buy 2 procedures, get the third for free at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ladies, you want to never have to shave your legs again? Fellas, give that as a gift to her, and she will love you. I mean, she probably already does, but then she'll, really love you. Can you imagine if your wife never had to shave her legs again? Ladies, can you imagine if you never had to shave your legs again? I mean, we think of it so much just for guys, with shoulder and back hair and unsightly hair, places you don't want it. What if you're a lady and you never had to shave your legs again? Done. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Buy 2 sessions, get a third free all throughout the month of July. So the NFL did a thing today. The NFL has banned jersey swaps. You're familiar, right? So at the end of NFL games, maybe former college teammates, whatever it may be, they swap jerseys, and they take pictures. I mean, you're familiar, right, guys? They'll autograph their jersey and give it to somebody else from the other team, and you collect them. The thing that blew my mind about this is that guys don't wash the jerseys. Like, you heard about this? Like, whenever they do the jersey swap, they just frame them. They take jerseys full of sweat and turf and dirt and just frame them. I'm like, what is growing inside of those frames?
There's going to be some mildew in those frames,
bro,
right?
Like, right? I mean, that to me is heinous. I talked about this with Ryan Clark. I mean, he had it done. He's like, the jersey swap thing came in late, like toward the end of his career, and he did that. And he's got some jerseys, got them framed up, and never washed them. I'm like, how do you not wash those? Okay, I digress. I'm getting off subject. But Richard Sherman has said, he tweeted, it was the perfect example of the NFL thinking in a nutshell, noting that the players are going to engage in a full contact game and then not be able to exchange jerseys, which is just ludicrous. Deshaun Watson tweeted, quote, "damn silly," all caps. So a couple of other regulations from the NFL today. Post-game interactions can't be within 6 feet, so all the handshakes and post-game prayers and huddles and all that can't happen, apparently. Coaches and players not appearing in the game are strongly encouraged to wear a mask on the sideline. They're limiting the number of people who can have field access before, during, or after a game, excluding coaches and players, to 184 people. Players have to have temperature checks before the games. Lockers, efforts need to be made to space lockers 6 feet apart. They could have plexiglass partitions between them as well. Can't share water bottles or cups, et cetera. Players have to spend the night before the game in a hotel, even if it's a home game. You realize this is like the whole notion, and I do respect very much the NFL trying. I respect very much the NFL doing their best to try to enact certain protocols that are going to protect players. But when you're going through a full contact game for 60 minutes over the course of 3.5 hours, and then you're going to say you can't exchange jerseys, that feels ludicrous. It's like you're demoing a house, but you have a welcome mat at the front door, and you tell the construction crew, hey, please wipe your feet before you walk in. We're demoing the house. What's the point? Did you ever see that movie, Not Another Teen Movie? This is what I thought. Honestly, this is what I thought about first. Did you ever see Not Another Teen Movie? CV, did you ever see that? No? Paulie, no? Never saw it?
I've not.
Paul saw it. Okay. So Paul. And so if you don't know, Not Another Teen Movie was like, I don't know, early, middle 2000s. It was basically a spoof of all the teen movies, like She's All That and American Pie and all that stuff. You know the scene where the girl like gets pushed, she like gets pushed in the pool and she's like soaking wet, and then the mean girl comes up to her and like goes like, oops, and like spills her water on her. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's gonna stain. That's what I thought about first. Like, wait a minute, she's already covered in water. Now you're gonna spill water on her. Like that's a negative thing that's happening. That's just what I thought. Thanks, Paul. Dynamite drop-in as always. Appreciate you. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Big news of the day, if you haven't heard of it yet, Big Ten has now formally announced that they will play a conference-only schedule for the 2020 season. I reacted to that to open to the show. You can catch that on the podcast at 1045ESPN.com after the show, and then we will certainly discuss that with Mike Detillier coming up right after the top of the hour. A lot to get to with Mike D. We'll talk about the Big Ten's decision. We'll talk about the center battle at LSU. Liam Shanahan making waves. We'll certainly talk some Saints news as well with Mike D. Coming up as we start Hour 2 on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. It is vacation season. Actually got some relatives right now on the road. They left Baton Rouge. They're like driving to Colorado and doing loop-de-loos all through the mountains and then coming back. But before you do that, make sure your car is running efficiently. Make sure your car's in tip-top shape. As a matter of fact, they did. Before they left, they went to Shawbills and got 4 new tires. You know why they went to Shawbills to buy their tires? Because it's my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, twice prior, when she had damaged tires, she brought them to Shawbills and they fixed them for free. Because that's what Shawbills says all the time. We will fix your tires for free, even if you didn't buy them here. And Mr. Charlie's mantra always was, because it's the right thing to do. And when you treat people right, they're going to keep coming back year after year. And that's why Shawbills has been a leader for 52 years. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling.
Richards Honda is constantly looking for smart ways to make things easier for you. So we created our buy from home option. It's the easiest, most convenient way to shop for a car, all from the comforts and safety of your own home. Just log on to richardshonda.com, click on the buy from home button, and with a few simple steps, your new or pre-owned car will be ready for pickup or delivered right to your door. It's fast, easy, and smart. Try it today at richardshonda.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In and eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry.
All right, before we get started with hour 2 of After Further Review, the big news coming out today, the Big Ten very likely to have conference-only games for all of fall sports. That does include the sport of football. Their reasons: they could eliminate long-distance travel. They could help ensure COVID testing universally. You can hear Matt's take on that as we have it on demand, presented by Breck Golf, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So you can hear that on demand at 1045ESPN.com. You can watch us on YouTube.
Yep.
Do that. And Mike D, one of my absolute favorites. Mike D is coming up next for a full hour of football talk right here on After Further Review.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Cesarac Rye Whiskey.
I'm Mike D and I get respect.
He was taking them from Highway 1 to Highway 308.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Matt? It's all right, TV. Do your thing. Don't worry about it. We're good. Kate Wassand's getting Mike Detillier on the line. We've got a full hour of football talk with Mike D lined up right now as we start hour 2 of AFR. Gigantic news, of course, in the world of football today, if you have not yet heard, is that the Big Ten, and they have now made it official via announcement on their Twitter page, the Big Ten will go to a conference-only schedule for 2020. They will play a 10th game, so in effect eliminating their Rent-A-Wins and playing a 10-game conference schedule for 2020. We got Mike D with us here, SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, on Twitter at Mike Detillier, part of the Saints News Network over at SI. Mike D, how are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Mike. Let's start with the big news from the Big Ten. What's your reaction?
Well, it's not a surprise, and now we coming down to either squat or get off the pot. It's that moment, for college and pro football. You've always had time that the NBA and Major League Baseball and other sports didn't have. Now the worst thing in the world is the tick-tock of a clock, because now you want it, and so you got to make a decision. I knew that this was part of something that had been discussed, not only with the Big Ten, but also in other conferences, including the ACC, SEC, Pac-12. I know some people out in the ACC feel, hey, listen, we don't want to give up Notre Dame on the schedule.
Yep.
So now here's going to be the thing. Can everybody be sort of lock, stock, in step here? That you will have a 10-game schedule and that some of these games will be eliminated. Listen, I feel certainly for, UT San Antonio. Man, I live right down the road from Nicholls State. I know what it means for them financially. Yep. That's big for Tim Rebowe and his department to get that paycheck to play LSU. But we living in some unprecedented times. And Matt, I think that what the SEC and ACC and Pac-12 and Big 12 will do is they'll wait and see the ramifications of this in the Big Ten. And for the most part, I think most people feel, okay, doing away with a couple of games that really isn't going to matter on the schedule one way or another, and let's move on. But you got to get everybody in line. And that's going to be the thing here. You have no kind of judge, jury, executioner in the NCAA to get every conference to say, hey, this is what's going to be. That's how it's going to be done, and don't give me no flack about it. You're going to start to hear it now. They're going to have some teams squawking about certain games. And so I do think it's the first domino to hit that I think you will see that very shortly, probably the ACC and Pac-12. They'll be the next two to react to the Big Ten. And I think that's what you'll see across college football. We always thought it would be a little bit different, college football. If you're going to play, it's going to be different. A month ago, I think virtually every major college coach, and even the small college coaches felt, man, the numbers are going down. Everything's looking much better. I think we can get this season done without a hitch. And then we've experienced the last couple of weeks and seen what happened. And I think the Big Ten is reacting first. I think the other conferences are going to take lead. That I think you're probably going to see that 10-game schedule. And just going to be, who you're going to eliminate. And if you're going to eliminate two teams off that LSU schedule, yeah, listen, it don't take Albert Einstein to figure that one out.
Yep. Mike, when you look at Notre Dame, which is really interesting because you brought up the ACC, I mean, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but, Mike, their whole schedule, I mean, they're not a conference. What does Notre Dame do? Who do they play?
Well, the one thing I do know about Notre Dame, they do know how to count money.
Mm-hmm.
Them cats that run that school do know how to count money pretty well. So I think that they'll figure out exactly what will bring them the most attention and the most amount of money. Bottom line with it, come on, we all know that Notre Dame's independent, so they can basically kind of pick and choose who they want to play and not play. And also, a lot of people think it puts them in a bad position. It actually, I think, could potentially put them in a good position. I can take that team off my schedule, and I don't have to play them, and I can get maybe 2 weeks before a big game. And, listen, there's a lot of variables in this, and, they're going to have conspirators for everything today. I mean, that's just the way the world is, to say, you know what? I think this is college football's deal of eliminating these pay-for-play type games.
Mike,
this
listen.
This is the excuse to do it.
Mike, you stole the open of my show. I mean, doesn't it make sense what the Big Ten is doing if effectively Ohio State in their opening week is scheduled to play Bowling Green and they got to pay them $1.4 million? Well, the only reason that game's on your schedule is so you can collect another gate receipt. Well, if there's not going to be fans, you're going to pay Bowling Green $1.4 million to come take an L, but you're not going to have fans to offset that cash lost? No way.
Bingo. You got it. Okay, it's coming down to one thing, Matt.
It's money.
What it always
of course
comes
it's
down
money.
To, cash.
Mike, why are you and I the only ones that understand this?
Man, that scared the hell out of me. But I do understand money pretty well. And, come on. We live in that world, Matt, where that money part is going to have a huge say in everything that's being done from now all the way through. I don't think any of us thought that the NFL season – I think for the NFL, and a lot of people don't get this, I think for most of the NFL owners, they would love to have people in the stands, and they would love to collect that season ticket and that suite sale and everything else that goes along with it. But you know what? They don't let you take a look at those books.
Mm-hmm.
If the average fan would see the amount of money they get from TV rights and international rights and what they do off the internet and merchandise, they're not opening up their books to show you that.
Mike, not only the fans, but the NFLPA.
No one sees it. And I'll never forget, she just passed away a week ago, and her and I, we've become good friends throughout the years, Gay Culverhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And Gay would always tell me, Mike, you just don't realize. I mean, her dad owned the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad paid $16 million for the back in 1976. She said, Mike, I got a checking account. I could pay that price today. So, which is funny on her part, but that's just the way she was.
Sure.
And she said, listen, $16 million, and people were, oh, my God, $16 million for an NFL team back in 1976? She says, today, I would have to team up with probably 4, and my brother included, Hugh Jr. I'd have to team up with Hugh and 3 other the richest people I know to buy an NFL team because you're a billionaire. You got to be a billionaire to do it. She said back then, my dad was considered one of the richest owners in the world. When he passed away, he was probably middle of the pack. There is a reason why that's the case. Like she said, these people that have that considerable wealth, and yes, my dad put it on the line. He didn't know what would happen in Tampa, but he was backed by the NFL, so he really had insurance that would work out in Tampa Bay. But, you think about it today, if you're a billionaire owner and you got to make up your money, you do know where that money's coming from. So she would always tell me, listen, I'm not investing $3 billion on a team. Oh, I'll get it back in 20 years. That ain't the case.
Right.
These owners are getting it back very quickly, and they can be great. She said, I see some of them now that they wear the robe of these great contributors to society. And she said, I'm all for it because, she was like that too. She wanted no credit, and she contributed to a number of different causes here. And you and I had a conversation because her granddaughter is going to LSU, and she was looking for a dentist.
Right. Yep.
You remember?
I do.
I said, Matt, you got to tell me a dentist in Baton Rouge because I'm on the phone with a multi-zillionaire woman who's trying to figure out.
I hope it worked out all right, Mike.
It worked out great.
Good.
Oh, absolutely great. She called me. She said, listen, tell Matt. She really appreciated it because she said everything went really well. But it goes to show you how the world changes. But, again, it was all driven by money. And I get it because of the money that's coming in from so many sources. Matt, I think what we saw yesterday with Stanford is going to happen all across the country. that these secondary programs are going to be eliminated. And, again, the conspirators will say, okay, this is a way to get rid of these money games and also scholarships or partials for smaller sports.
I mean, Mike, Stanford's got a $27 billion endowment. You don't think they could fund a squash team if they really wanted to? I mean,
we all know.
Of course,
that's the same way with the Ivy League.
Of course.
Oh, come on! Oh my God! I heard one guy. Oh man, because the Ivy League did this. They're the smartest people in the world. They got to get. You know why they do it? Their endowments are worth billions.
The Harvard endowment is $40 billion, Mike.
I think
Mike, they could build a school out of gold just on the interest, man.
I think Columbia is 33. So here's my deal. They could do that. And how many people in the state? Listen. Every once in a while, I'll watch an Ivy League game because as a player, I want to see.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say because you had some coin on the game.
Well, probably not. Look, I'm bad, but I ain't that bad.
I'll leave that to Jimmy Ott.
But my thing about it is, I look in the stands. I've seen more games at a junior high school game than you see at an Ivy League game.
Yep.
And so, again, it's not about the attendance. It's not about the TV thing for them, okay? But for the SEC and the ACC, it's all about the programs that they're funding, how that money's going through so many different ways. And, again, there is no book you can pick up to tell you how to do it today.
Yeah.
Okay? There is no other, we're going to look back and what they did back in 1979 for that. No, there is nothing like this. So you're walking on some hallowed grounds here that no one's walked on. But I think this is just the start of it, that you're going to see the elimination of these money games and also I think of smaller sports in the programs. I think that is the reality of the world we live in today.
Pointed commentary as always. Love having Mike D with us for a full hour. Let me knock out a break, Mike. We'll come back. We'll talk some Who Dat. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Carriages in Bocage, carriagesbr.com. Get on by, see our friends over at Carriages in Bocage, names and brands you know and love. Shirt I'm wearing today is a Mizzen and Main shirt. It is so soft, and the performance material is outstanding. You can find it at Carriages in Bocage, the names and brands you know and love. You want that jacket? If it's Jack Victor or Luciano Barbera, they got so many names and brands that you know. Stenstrom's dress shirts, if it's custom-made clothing, or if it's the Peter Millar performance gear. If you want to style up this summer, get by Carriages in Bocage, where they've been for 30 years, and yet again voted the best men's clothier in the Best of 225 awards. Every time this category is up, Carriages wins because they got the best selection, the best associates as well, the best in-house tailor, and they say you have something tailor-made there, they'll make it fit for life at Carriages in Bocage. Shop them online at carriagesbr.com or go tell them Matt sent you in to Carriages in Bocage.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Our big New Year sale is going on now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, and you can get $3,200 off MSRP on a 20 Tacoma TRD or lease a 2020 Tacoma Special Edition for $209 a month. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Sazerac Rye Whiskey.
Appreciate our friends over at Sazerac Rye. One of my absolute personal favorites, man. You get premium taste and quality at an everyday affordable price. I say this all the time. Just because whiskey is expensive doesn't mean it's good, and just because it's good doesn't mean it has to be expensive. Check out Sazerac Rye. It's versatile. You want to mix it in a cocktail, an old-fashioned, a Sazerac cocktail, a Manhattan, or you want to drink it on the rocks. Trust me, you will enjoy it. If you love rye whiskey, give it a shot. Sazerac Rye. They present our conversations every week here with Mike Detillier. SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, part of the Saints News Network over at SI.com. And Mike D, I got to get reaction to Pat Mahomes' contract in a second. First, though, since we last spoke, there's also been a report that the NFL is likely to trim rosters heading into training camp. How big of an effect, if at all, do you think that has on the Saints going into camp in a few weeks?
El Zippo.
Okay.
Nothing. Come on. It's the same way. I got a 90-year-old neighbor who coached in the NFL, and his deal is, Mike, after the first two practices, you come here and you can tell me who you think's in competition for a 53-man roster and not. You just saw two practices. He said, come on, the coaches see it too. They don't need 90 players out there. 75 is sufficient. Now, again, I'll put a caveat to that. I do think the NFL will have to make an adjustment to the roster in adding more people to the roster. Just because the inevitability that you're going to have an incident somewhere along the season where you could have 3 or 4 guys at one time not be available. My thing has always been, okay, if you had a 53-man squad, a 55-man squad, what the hell do I have to put people inactive for? Why?
Yep. Amen.
It's all about, guess what?
Money.
Again, coin. And so my thing is, okay, it's an unprecedented year. Let's kind of revise that this year. Let's make it a little bit bigger roster. The NFLPA should be for that. Now, again, some of the cats that run that, you just sort of shake your head about, man, I never want to hire their lawyers. So, no, never. The NFL lawyers, give me them owner lawyers. Man, them cats know what they're doing. Matt, you talk about whiskey. No, but one thing I do know, those NFL owners getting paid well, they know what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
The NFLPA, I don't know. Sometimes in these deals, I just kind of shake it. But whatever. Yeah. I do believe that you're going to have to adjust that roster and make it a bigger roster. just because of the inevitability that this is going to happen. But to bring 90 players, come on. You didn't have training camp. You didn't have the OTAs, so to speak. So now condense your roster and work with the guys that's going to be there at the end. Work with the guys that, okay, you're going to have to make some cuts at the end, certainly. But you're working with the majority of the guys that are going to be there. A 90-man roster on a 53-man squad, that's a lot of guys. And, you can formulate the reps and how it's worked and everything else. So, listen, I think most coaches, because it's habit. I've always had 90. I want 90. Mm-hmm. I've had 4 preseason games. I want 4. The evaluation is going to be different. No, that's going to be always a small percentage, and we talk about it every year, that there's a player, and sometimes 2, that look great in practice, put them in a game, they freeze. And you got guys that are so in practice, you put them in a game, and it's like they can flip a switch. Mm-hmm. The electricity comes on. But those guys are few and far between. There's a player or 2 every year like that. And, again, you're going to make mistakes, and you can understand that. But for the most part, after a couple days of practice, ask the LSU veterans today, just in workouts, ask them which freshmen look good.
Yeah.
Doesn't T-Bob and Jordy ask Bebe this every week? Who looks good in practice? What, in lifting weights and running? And he give you a list. Man, this freshman, and it's kind of the same guys, okay? Over and over, he kind of gives you the same guys. So, I mean, he's hearing it from Tommy Moffitt. He's hearing it from the trainers. They sort of know which guy, man, that guy can play. And it don't take them long, to figure it out. Even though they're not, in pads or anything else, you can sort of figure that guy can play and that guy can't for now. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's that big of a deal at all, but it's all because of habit.
All right, Mike. Patrick Mahomes gets $500 million. What do you think?
Listen, I thought he'd get more than that. No, I was doing a show last week, and they asked me, okay, over the next 5 years, give me the average what you think Mahomes would get. And I said, I think 42.5. I thought it'd be 42.5 million. And it equals out, I think in the first 6 years, I think it's 40, a little over 40 million. So I think he got a little less than I thought he would get. But how much is too much? We're living in a world today that people are struggling to pay their bills, food on the table, to pay their mortgage, everything else. And people are squawking, that, he could have got more than that. My thing about it is, if he's happy with it and the team's happy with it, it ain't none of your business. Okay, if you're an average NFL, because I've heard it a lot from former NFL players squawking, he could have got a lot more, shorter deal. That's not what he wanted, okay? Nobody forced Patrick Mahomes to sign that deal. I think it's a great deal for Pat, and I think it's $40 million, man, you can take care of your family for the next, say 6 years, you average that. You can take care of your family and your family's family and the family after that with that type of money. A great example, and it's a little off the sports subject, but you live on a bayou, ain't nobody can keep a secret about nothing. That's sort of bad. No, you can't keep a secret about nothing. They got a lady from La Rose who won a Powerball a couple years ago, and she ended up taking the lump sum. She, I think at that time, was 68 or 69. Ended up with like $17.5 million in the lump sum. And a couple weeks earlier, the Powerball winner, I think, collected over $80 million. All the people here wanted to talk about was, man, yeah, well, I'm glad for her, but boy, she should have won it a couple weeks back. My thing is, when you're 68, 69 years old and you win $17.5 million, all I know is if she lives another 30 years, she'll still have that $17.5 million. Now, I don't know about the individual who won the $80 million, but it's how you live and how you take care of things. And my thing for Pat, I think he understood he was going to break the barrier. And, if it's good with him, it's good with the Chiefs, then I'm fine with it. You know, people, oh, man, an owner to give that much money? Oh, so the Hunts, are you going to tell me Hunts ain't got no money? I know his daddy did.
Right.
I know the dad and Lamar's dad had it. So, listen, it's not about money, it's how you spend it. Bill Walsh told me this years ago. He won the Pete Rozelle Award here. And I asked him, what was the key to his success in picking players and signing players? And he said, I came down to one question. Do I want him on my team or do I want to play against him? And I'll figure out the money, and we'll figure it out. But do I want him on my team or do I want to play against him? Asked every NFL team, do you want him or do you want to play against him? You're going to get 31, I want him.
Yeah.
Other than, the Chiefs, certainly they got him. So, again, he is a talent in the first 3 years. And I'm doing a story about how New Orleans got the NFL franchise. And you know what it compares to very favorably? I have not heard one person, and going back in my notes and interviews I did even back then and what Buddy did, because we were going to write a book about it, was Joe Namath. And Billy Cannon went off on us one day in a radio interview. And Billy was, I see all these stat geeks try to convince me that Joe Namath, wasn't a great player. Now, none of them have ever put on a jock strap and a helmet in their life, but they can look at numbers and try to tell me who's good and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Joe Namath was the best player I ever played with or against. And I didn't play with him. I played against him. And so he says that tells you something. There were some really good players in the AFL back then. And he was the very best. And he changed this league. You look at Mahomes and what he's been able to do. And post-Mahomes, Russell Wilson sort of does similar things. Russell's more of a runner than Pat. But do you see a guy that can throw that football like what Mahomes can?
No.
And when you got him caught in the corner, okay, you got him by the teriyaki. In 3 games late last year, you had him cornered. He plays a terrible 3.5 quarters in the Super Bowl. He doesn't play well.
Yeah.
And then in the last 7 minutes, he was absolutely, awesome in what he did to bring that team back. And, and he had a part in putting them in that position of being from behind. Look what he did against the Titans, and look what he did against other teams. There's not a lot of guys that can do that, and that's what makes him a special talent. Now, he only played 3 years in the league. He ain't showing me nothing. Really? He's been the NFL MVP, and he won a Super Bowl. And he didn't play in year 1 other than the final game. He was a backup. So explain to me why you don't think he's a great player today, that he's the NFL MVP 1 year, and he wins the Super Bowl the next with the Chiefs. Come on. Either you got a bad TV or, man, they got a lot of eye doctors that need work. But that guy is special as a talent. And I agree with Walsh on this. I want him. And I pay what I got to do to keep him. Because I don't want to have to play against him. I don't want to have to play against him one day. And add 10 years to his life. How old is he?
36.
Okay. Look how long these quarterbacks have played in the NFL today. Yep. You looked at Peyton, who had some shoulder injuries, really bad, was able to play. You look at Breeze, look at Brady. These guys have extended their careers. They know how to take care of their bodies. You got to have a little bit of luck injury-wise. But, man, he's worth every nickel. As far as I'm concerned, he's worth every nickel of that $500 million. And to be honest, I thought he might get more.
Mike Detillier is with us every Thursday here on AFR. Mike, sit tight. We'll grab a quick break, come back. We'll talk a little purple and gold. Ed Ogeron commented again on LSU's center battle. How is Liam Shanahan making a move when they're not even on the practice field? I want to ask Mike that when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Tell you about Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and online at PremierSouthLA.com. A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau. Super Service Award from Angie's List. Torch Award for Ethics in Business. When you call Premier South Roofing, you will never, ever, ever have to wonder, who's coming to my house? Are they going to do a quality job? Are they going to do what they said they're going to do? are they going to take my money and run? You'll never have to worry about any of those. You want a better experience with a contractor? You want Premier South Roofing. In life, it's true. You get what you pay for. You want to hire Chuck in a truck with a magnet on the side who says he can fix your roof? Is he insured? Does he have pictures of his work? What kind of work's he done in the past? References? Got them all. Check out, go Google them. Go look at their reviews. Premier South Roofing. Online, premiersouthla.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and premiersouthla.com.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happytown, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Visit Bayou Ford for a new 2020 Ford F-150 for only $30,400 with 0% for 72 months. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
With Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Cesarac Rye Whiskey.
Shout out to our friends at the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. You can see 2020, or like I am, better than 2020. 2015, LASIK was the answer for me. I never knew it until I met with Dr. Blake Williamson. Was always told wasn't a candidate for LASIK. Went and met with Dr. Blake Williamson. We had our full comprehensive evaluation, and I'll be darned, I was a perfect candidate for LASIK. Had my procedure almost 2 years ago, still seeing better than 2020. If you live your life with contacts or glasses, you know what I'm talking about. When you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't see the clock. You sit, it's hard to see TV, hard to see street signs at night. You got to fool with your contacts whenever you travel. You're in a swimming pool. It's a constant worry. Forget about it. Give yourself the gift of sight. Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. We continue with Mike Detillier. All right, Mike. You were just alluding to, Coach O and his visits with Jordy and T-Bob every week and how he keeps talking about these guys. And here comes Liam Shanahan, who a month ago was an afterthought when Ed Orgeron was running through the depth chart on the offensive line. We played the cut. He's like, oh, yeah, and the kid from Harvard might play somewhere on the line. And now I'll be damned if he's not talking about him like he's going to start at center. What's happened?
Okay, 3 things
Okay.
right off the bat. When they recruited him, what did I tell you? He's not a guard. He's a center or right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how Ed has recruited the guards. If it's been Ed Ingram, Damian Lewis.
Yeah, big, giant road
Cordell
graders.
Thomas,
Absolutely.
Anthony Bradford. They all sort of built the same.
Yep.
This big, wide-body guy with a big rear, okay? and so you can follow that guy downfield, and they sort of give you that physicality. You looked at Liam, and I know he started, in the Ivy League at guard. But when you look at him play, he's really built like a center and a tackle. More that long, lean guy. And he is a big man, but he's sort of tall cut for that size. He's not that big wide body guard that Ed has recruited over and over and over again. Same, almost cookie cutter type guard. So that was run right off the bat. Secondly, I listened to him. He did the final show on a Monday night with us, and he's done it on the was it Tuesday mornings? He does it with
Jordan T-Bob, yeah.
Okay.
Tuesdays.
Okay. So, and one of the things he brought up with us, and he's brought up with T-Bob and Jordy. First things first, about Chason, got all the talent, really good, built for the position. You got to get the center snap right. Okay. No one pressured him to say he's got to get the snap right. You know what that's telling you? He ain't writing your story. He's not doing your show. He's telling you that consistently, Chason is not hitting the snap on the deep snap. He's not telling you that, but he's telling you. You got to listen a little bit of how he posed it every time, and he said the same thing to Bobby J and I that he told T-Bob and Jordy. Exactly the same way. He's got to get the snap right each time. Okay? That's important. You don't want to have your quarterback digging for the ball on the turf or jumping up in the air to see what's your vertical leap. Got to get it right. Joseph Evans, I think, has the build for the center position. He just hasn't played. He's got no experience. And he had no spring to do it. Now, Liam doesn't either. But I will say this. You can't practice how to deep snap to a quarterback. You and him. Y'all can practice that on your own, can't you?
Sure.
You can go with the quarterback and say, okay, let's get this down. I can hear it. Huh? I can hear it back from my quarterback. Man, that Shanahan guy, man, he's hitting me on every snap.
Mm-hmm.
That word of mouth, listen, it's like living on the bayou. You can't keep nothing a secret. It's leaking out one way or another. And so I think now Liam hasn't got involved with a critical position is the one, I guess since the end of the season, I've kind of banged the drum about how important that center position is. You're making all the line calls. You're getting everything straight. You got to pick up that inside blitz. But first things first, you got to get the center snap back to the quarterback consistently right. It can't be 8 out of 10. What Ed was telling you without telling you was he didn't see that at that point. And maybe with work, Chason would have gotten it down. But now I think word of mouth is, hey, that Shanahan guy's pretty good at it. Thirdly, when they had the conference calls for the coaches, Steve Ensminger coming on and talking about his offensive line. And he brought up great having Ed Ingram back, and we'll see what happens at the other guard position with Bradford. And all of a sudden, he kind of got a little, I can't think what's the. And he whoever was in the room, who's the other guy? And it was Cordell. Cordell. And when somebody said Shanahan, no, not him. If you go back and listen, he dismissed it real quick at the guard position. Okay, so he confirmed everything that we kind of get now. And not that Liam can't play it because he has, but his best spot was either going to be center or right tackle. You have a right tackle in Austin Deculus that's returning. That center position's open. it's open because it's an open battle. Jason hasn't done that in a regular season game, right? He hasn't played center. He's played guard. So now you got some open competition here. And how well he handles the physicality part of the SEC is still unknown because, I mean, it's a big jump from the Ivy League to the SEC. But what I think they see is a guy that's hitting the quarterback snap right smack dab in the hands and is consistent. And now all of a sudden now, coach's tenor about Liam is sort of changed.
Sort of? Mike, it went from an afterthought to you can't stop talking about him.
So I think what happened is, okay, you saw him maybe work at the guard, but that's not right. Maybe we'll have him work at right tackle. Maybe take some snaps on the left side in case something would happen to Rosenthal. We'll make him work there. And then, somebody says, hey, coach, let's try him at center. One thing with Ed, he's always open to doing things, and giving that guy an opportunity. And I think he saw, hey, that might well be the spot for 2020. That might be Shanahan's spot in 2020. And then whatever happens afterwards, we'll figure it out. But, man, for right now, he might be our best spot as that center for him, and he might be our best guy. So now all of a sudden the tenor is totally changed. But I think a lot of that has to do with you can work out a center quarterback exchange with a quarterback. You can go out in the backyard somewhere and do it. You can go out in the little field somewhere and do it. And you can see it, if you Miles Brennan, if you TJ, if you Max, you can see that guy's, he's connecting on it. And so I think that's what changed everything, because you're not seeing it in practice. There is no practice that way. But I think you can practice that exchange. And I think, word of mouth gets around pretty good.
Mike D's with us every Thursday, SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com. Of course, Saints News Network over at SI. Mike, let me knock out our final break so we have enough time for questions. When we come back, you got a question for Mike D. You know the drill. Get it in. You can email Matt at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona at 1045ESPN. You can jump in the Bayou Ford Huddle. Got the YouTube chat open as well. Lots of ways to get your questions for Mike D. Get them in. Your questions for Mike when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Let me take 60 seconds and remind you about River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Had a call earlier today, as a matter of fact. Erica called me. Some friends of ours who own a business, their AC went out. They couldn't get a call back from many companies that they called. And Erica called me and said, hey, does 1 hour air do commercial as well or just residential? I said, no, they do commercial. They've been a Traction, a lot of other big businesses that we deal with. So got them on the phone. Remember, if it's commercial or residential, River City's 1 hour air can help. Take care of your home central AC at your home or your business. They've got the AC tune-up and rejuvenation for just $97. They'll come out to your house or your place of business. They'll get that AC unit tuned up, cleaned up, running efficiently for these warm weather months throughout the summer. That box just sits there on the side of your house month after month, day after day, year after year. Make sure that it's running efficiently. River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Our weekly talk with Mike Detillier is brought to you by the one and only New Orleans original, Sazerac Rye Whiskey.
All right, final segment with Mike Detillier, presented by Sazerac Rye. Wherever you buy your spirits, pick up a bottle of Sazerac Rye. Premium taste at an everyday price. It is the New Orleans original, Sazerac Rye. Check it out. We appreciate them for sponsoring our hour with Mike D every week. SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, Saints News Network over at SI.com. Mike, before we get to questions, I know you've teased this a couple times that you're working on the series about how the Saints franchise was awarded. Where are you with that and where people can find it?
Okay, they can find it on Saints News Network. They can also find it on my Twitter site at Mike Detillier, also on my Facebook site. We're going to finish it off with 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
I got 9 to do, but we're finishing off. I'm doing 3 at a time. And right now I'm working on with the exhibition games that really sold the NFL on New Orleans. Dave Dixon's fight, basically, with the Times-Picayune and the editor about the editor did not want professional football in New Orleans and his fight for that. And the 2 big events leading up to the most tumultuous year in 65 in getting the franchise. And 1, certainly the Namath signing with the Jets. And 2, the huge contract deals of both CBS and NBC for the NFL and American Football League games, and just amazing. Things were happening so fast, just to keep up with it, and it went from 0 chance in 1960 to having the franchise in 66.
It's awesome. Make sure you check it out. Saints News Network, part of the SI.com network. All right, Mike, let's get to questions. Last week, by the way, we had the question from Hughes, who asked the question about could LSU pass the record of draft picks from this year or get double-digit guys drafted? We said we talk about it this week. You want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I think what you're looking at, and these are the guys, Jamar Chase, Racey McMath, Terrace Marshall, Ed Ingram, Austin Deculus, Tyler Shelvin, Jacoby Stevens, Kerry Vincent, Jabril Cox.
Okay. 1, 2,
How many
3,
that
4,
is?
5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9.
Okay, the 10th would be to me Damone Clark. Now again, I've got to see Damone in a regular season game. But, man, I'm telling you, if there's a breakout guy, there's been a lot of stories written about Racy, and a lot of it having to do with Jim Nagy writing some stuff. And knowing Jim really well, he always keeps up with it. But Damonza Jr., he's a guy that could be a burst-on-the-scene guy and the breakout player for LSU on defense. The other guys you have to look at is, one, he's coming off of an injury, but there's some unknown there, would be Todd Harris. On how well he comes back from the injury, I think he certainly has the talent to play at the next level. The development of Glenn Logan and Neil Farrell, I think those two guys have to be watch players for 2020. Same thing I can put on Jamal Pettigrew, who's a tight end. He's got some major competition there from the two freshmen, but he looks the part. Can he stay healthy? And then the big name, Miles Brennan.
Yeah.
We have seen guys 1 year tag to the NFL. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to Miles, but it's part of the look-see. So that's 10 players, and also you have 5 other guys you have to look at. It's amazing that you threw 20 players into the NFL, 14 draft choices, 6 free agents, and you could, again, have, look on that list, 12 to 15.
Yep.
That's unreal of what you've got. And give a lot of credit to Orgeron and his staff. They've done a fabulous job of keeping the train rolling. And then the next year, you know, has some pretty big names on that list.
Oh, yeah. Mike Detillier is with us. Your questions. Let's see. Ask Mike, do you see the Saints signing wide receiver Taylor Gabriel?
No. I think if they would sign a receiver, Sean has a certain look he wants, and I think he likes the receiving core he's got. I'm not sure if Traquan can be that breakout guy this year. He's been given a lot of chances to, but it's a make-or-break year for him. But I don't see him going after Taylor Gabriel.
Ask Mike, Drake Kirkpatrick or Logan Ryan. Saints, you still think they add a corner?
I still think they add a corner to this roster. I really do. I just think the asking price for both is a little steep. I think Dre, and we talked about this a month ago, I think he would be the guy. He's experienced. He's played both in the slot and also out wide. He understands his position. And I can't tell you what's going to happen with Patrick Robinson. Okay, he's at a certain age, came off a major ankle injury. Didn't look the same last year. Man, I would be looking, and if it's the right price, if it's Dre, if it's Logan, I got a lot of interest.
Let's see if we can get got about a minute left, Mike. What about Clay Matthews or Marcus Golden? A lot of free agent questions today.
Clay is more of the pass rusher guy, and you know a lot about him. I would sign Clay right before the start of the season if I had an interest. Preseason's for the unskilled. He don't need no practice time. Come on. What is practice going to do for Clay Matthews?
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, he's done all that before. So I would say probably it's a possibility, but I think Clay is going to look around to see if he can find him a spot in the 3-4 alignment.
Mike Detillier, SaintsReport.com, MikeDetillier.com, Saints News Network. Make sure you follow him on Twitter as well, at Mike Detillier. Our chats are brought to you every single Thursday by Sazerac Rye. Mike D, you the man. We appreciate you as always. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, Matt.
We appreciate you. This is After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break here, top of the hour. Thursday shows brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. When we come back, we will reset the story of the day, which is that the Big Ten is adjusting its football schedule for the 2020 season. I'll give you my take, and if you want to get involved, would certainly welcome that. In the last couple of hours since that news broke, there have been a lot of storylines in the ripple effect of that news. So we'll continue to discuss that and advance that as we move into Hour 3. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
AFR.
Always love telling you about South Point Volkswagen. SouthPointVW.com. New, certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. I love telling you about the style, the feel, the performance of luxury. I love telling you about the safety features. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. I love telling you that they're manufactured at their Tennessee plant right here in the USA. So when you buy a Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen, you are actually supporting American jobs. But I love telling you about this as well. Right now, the manufacturer is offering 0% APR for 72 months. Y'all, that is 6 years. 0% APR for 6 years right now at South Point Volkswagen. If you are even thinking about buying a new vehicle, put Volkswagen on your list. The style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. It's at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo.
After further review, hour 3, getting ready to get set, but the news of the day, the big news of the day coming to us from the Big Ten, that it is likely that fall sports, including football, would play a conference-only schedule. And if it comes to football, these are some of the marquee matchups we could miss out on. September 5th, Michigan at Washington. September 12th, Ohio State at Oregon. September 19th, App State at Wisconsin. Don't know if we'll actually miss out on that. October 3rd, Wisconsin and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Our reactions on demand at 1045ESPN.com. You can watch us on YouTube to get those reactions live and in person. Here is hour 3 of After Further Review.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After Further Review.
Say it one more time.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the OG, Cade Wazan.
Wazan. It might be Wazan.
It might be Wazan. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. All right, we'll get to a lot here over the next hour or so, and I'll certainly welcome you if you want to jump aboard. Phone lines are open, 499-1045, 499-1045, or toll-free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona, at 1045ESPN. Jump at the Bayou Ford Huddle. The YouTube chat is open there as well. If you want to join, feel free. So, the big news of the day, if you have not yet heard, the Big Ten is moving to a conference-only model for their fall sports. Earlier today, it was first reported by Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic, and then later also reported by ESPN and others, and subsequently confirmed by the Big Ten via a statement they released earlier today. Their statement on the 2020-2021 fall season, I'm not going to read the entirety of it, but they released this at around about an hour ago. The Big Ten statement in part said we're facing uncertain and unprecedented times, and the health, safety, and wellness of our student-athletes, coaches, game officials, and others associated with our sports programs and campuses remain our number one priority. So to that end, the Big Ten Conference announced today that if the conference is able to participate in fall sports, based on medical advice, it will move to conference-only schedules in those sports. Details for these sports will be released at a later date, yada, 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 yada. Thoughtful conversation, blah, 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 blah. In addition, summer activities will continue to be voluntary, blah, blah, blah. And while Big Ten member institutions continue to rely on up-to-date medical information to establish the best protocols for voluntary workouts on their campuses in compliance with local and state regulations, blah, 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 whatever. So the Big Ten has announced it's going conference only. It will be very interesting to see if others follow suit. It's worth noting that the ACC today has, in their response, has also not yet said that they would concede to that end. Trying to find this exact tweet. Forgive me. Here it was. Excuse me. I said ACC. Forgive me. It was Bob Bowlesby of the Big 12. My apologies. This is from Chuck Carlton at Chuck Carlton DMN. The Big 12's Bob Bowlesby said he was on a conference call this morning with new Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, who gave no indication of conference-only schedule move. Bowlesby, quote, "I believe it's early to make that sort of a decision, but perhaps they have a different perspective." So, again, it appears as though this is, for now anyway, a Big Ten-only decision. The Big 12 isn't yet moving in that direction. And Greg Sankey, just last evening on Freddie and Fitzsimmons on ESPN Radio, was asked about the Ivy League making their decision to cancel. And Greg Sankey had this to say about the Ivy League's decision last evening.
I don't think that the announcement today is any inflection point for decision making. Now, when you look at what's happening from the trend line with virus testing, with hospitalizations, with supplies and treatments, those are the real inflection points for us.
So Greg Sankey not ready to move yet in the direction the Big Ten has. Clearly, Bob Bowlesby of the Big 12 is not ready. Also, that clearly would impact the LSU-Texas game set for Tiger Stadium on September the 12th. If for whatever reason there were no, as you can understand, were no non-conference games played in the SEC or the Big 12. But one of the things that is happening is you're seeing a lot of the Group of Five and other leagues react because this news is going to be devastating for a lot of those smaller football programs. The Big Ten had 28 games scheduled against the FBS and an additional 8 against the FCS. The majority of those FBS opponents were Group of Five opponents. You did have some outliers, as we've mentioned. Michigan was set to play at Washington. Ohio State was set to play at Oregon. Michigan State had a home game against Miami of Florida. Wisconsin was going to play Notre Dame at Lambeau. Penn State was playing at Virginia Tech. So you had a handful of really nice marquee out-of-conference games, but the overwhelming majority of these are going to be Group of Five or FCS teams that miss out on a very large paycheck. So Ross Dellinger spoke to MAC Commissioner John Steinbrecher, whose league loses 11 guarantee games against the Big Ten. The MAC had 11 games scheduled against the Big Ten. And their commissioner said, the Big Ten's decision was earlier than I had anticipated. We were very anxious to pursue a full season, if at all possible. The non-conference and conference games are important to us. Listen, here's the bottom line. What's happening right now, and Mike Detillier alluded to this in the last hour, and I talked about it in hour number 1, but ultimately what's happening right now is the house of cards, the papier-mâché model that is college football, this setup, this farce. These athletic departments that have been built based essentially on credit, now with the economy, I'm in quotations, economy, collapsing around college football, they're all going bankrupt, for lack of better phrasing. Ultimately, if you are a MAC school, if you are a Group of Five school, and you set your budget based on the expectation of having 3 or 4 guarantee games every year, where you're going to go play 2 or 3, however many that number is, 2 to 4 guarantee games where you're looking for a 7-figure payout, and that's going to account for a quarter, 40% of your budget, your athletic department budget. If you don't have those games, you can't function. I mean, that's the majority of your budget, man. But this is what I've been screaming about for years. It is not the Power Five's responsibility to fund the Group of Five or the FCS. And I know that comes across as so brash because there's so many people listening to me right now that went to schools in the Group of Five or in the FCS that love those programs, and I respect that tremendously. I want you to know that. Like, I want Nichols, and I want Northwestern State and Southern and Grambling and all and ULL and Tech and ULM. I want Tulane. Like, I want Tulane's a little different. It's a private school, but you know what I mean. I want them all to do well. I do. Like, I want state schools to do well. I wish them nothing but the best, but I also understand it is not LSU's responsibility to fund your athletic department. But this is the model that has been built, and in large part, it's been built because of the greed of the Power Five. 15 years ago, thereabouts, when they expanded the schedule to 12 games, what was that, 2002, when they expanded to 12 games, the idea of adding another game wasn't to increase competition. It was another payday. It was add another layup, add another body bag game, a rent-a-win, so you can collect another gate receipt. Add nickels to the schedule. Sorry, CV. So that way, when they come in, you can sell 100,000 tickets and concessions and beer and merchandise. You give them $1 million to come play the game, and you pocket another 4. And it was rinse, repeat. But fans don't want those games. They've never wanted those games at all, ever. So the losers today, unfortunately, the people who are going to lose the most are those Group of Five and FCS schools that relied on those games. You're going to see a massive impact, an almost unfathomable impact. You think Stanford canceling 11 sports was massive? Wait, if this happens across college football and there are no more guarantee games, what are those athletic departments going to do? They're going to have no choice but to cancel sports. I mean, that's going to be the tip of the iceberg of this thing right now. But make no mistake, like, as much as people are trying to say that the Big Ten's decision today is COVID-related and safety of the players, I spelled this out for you, man. They're sitting there talking, we're trying to minimize travel. Man, you've got from Rutgers to Nebraska is 1,289 miles. Does it really matter if you're jumping on a plane in Jersey and heading to the middle of nowhere in Nebraska, or if you're in Ann Arbor hopping on a plane to go the same distance to Seattle? Let's get real, y'all. What are we talking about? It's a massive footprint. Think about the SEC. South Carolina's coming to Baton Rouge this year. Think about that travel. Are you kidding me? Missouri goes to Florida? What are we talking about? It's a plane ride. Travel's travel, man. This is primarily a financial play by the Big Ten. That's what this is. It's the same thing Stanford did yesterday. These decisions are largely influenced by money. Stanford yesterday, Stanford with a 27.7. Let me not leave off that $700 million. Stanford has a $27.7 billion endowment. If Stanford wanted to fund their fencing and squash teams for eternity, they could do it. And yeah, they're going to take a loss. LSU takes a $2 million loss every year in gymnastics, and they fill the PMAC. Of course Stanford could take that loss. They have the third largest endowment in the country behind only Harvard and Yale. They were looking to cut weight at the bottom. This was a convenient time to do it. And it's the same thing the Big Ten's doing right now. They know that they've got, every school has 2 games scheduled against opponents nobody wants to see. But they got them scheduled to sell 100,000 seats and sell concessions and parking and yada, yada, and make all this money on another home game or 2. Well, if you're not going to let fans in the stands and you can't sell tickets and you can't sell beer and you can't sell parking, then all you're doing is you're just giving this program 7 figures. You're giving them $1 million. You're losing in a time when everybody's looking at their entire balance sheet and saying, how are we going to make this work? How are we going to make this work? We didn't get our money from the NCAA tournament. All the things that we had budgeted for, like every other business in the country right now is trying to do. And the Big Ten's looking, going, well, here's where we can save $3 million. Let's not play those 2 teams. Okay. And on we go. Let me know your thoughts. You want to get involved, you can. 499-1045. 499-1045, toll free 844-568-MATT, 844-568-6288. Tweet me at Matt Moscona, at 1045 ESPN. Could lawsuits follow? We'll talk about that as well when we continue. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Online at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Our friends over at the Baton Rouge General Hospital have found so many ways to make sure you have the absolute best care and the most up-to-date technology to make it as convenient as possible for you. Virtual visits are available right now at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. If you can't or don't want to get out, virtual visits are available. They've reopened the emergency room at the Mid-City location. As I've told you for months now, the Surgery Fast Pass is there. If you want a touchless experience to register for your procedure, you can do that right now with the Surgery Fast Pass at brgeneral.org or on the Baton Rouge General mobile app. You want wait times at their express care locations? You want to register for your procedure? You can certainly do that at the Baton Rouge General mobile app. Log on to find out more, brgeneral.org. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Here at Corval Toyota, we don't just sell cars, we buy them too. Bring your car in so we can see it, and within minutes, you can turn your car into cash or trade it in towards your next vehicle. It's a fast and easy process. We buy your car at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Remember, you can watch the show, of course, on CST. We're also streaming live on our YouTube channel. Just search 104.5 ESPN. You can stream us live there. You can watch us. Of course, if you got the smart TV, you can pop us up on your smart TV via the YouTube app, and you can get in the comment section there. Trey said, simplify and take emotion out of it. How can the SEC maximize with an all-conference schedule? They still lose money? He's asking. You don't lose money, and that's an important distinction, but you make less. Here's the important distinction. Okay, the Ivy League announced yesterday they're canceling their fall sports season. They were literally going to lose money. They don't have a gigantic television deal that offsets the lack of a crowd. They also don't have gigantic crowds to begin with. So just by opening their doors, they're going to lose money. You're also looking at a league that just isn't reliant on sports, right? I mean, Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Cornell, they're all going to get enormous exposure and applications and grants and gifts to their endowment, regardless of if they play football or not. LSU wins a national championship, and applications, undergraduate applications, increase by 50%. Like, that's the difference, the primary difference. The CIAA has suspended its fall competition. I don't even know who's in the CIAA, but that's part of this, right? The CIAA, whatever they are, the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, have announced they've suspended their fall competition. Well, the CIAA, I'm guessing, isn't crushing it at the gate. And they're not crushing it, obviously, with a media rights deal. So if you can't generate any revenue through ticket sales because you can't have fans, and you rely on that, ticket sales and concessions, et cetera, to fund the programs, well, you don't have money to play. You literally don't have the money to play the season. That's what's happening here. So to Trey's question, who asked in the YouTube chat about the SEC, make no mistake, if you're the SEC, you're going to make less. Okay, so I'm not trying to do a math equation here, but understand, as long as the SEC plays games and are in alignment with their media rights deal, the grant rights to the league, which has deals with ESPN and with CBS, and then of course every ESPN subsidiary, they're still going to get that payout. You can still get ad revenue and lots of other revenue streams as long as you play, and that money is significant enough that you can still operate your athletic department. Are there spots where you're going to have to be leaner? Absolutely. There's no question. But if your revenue is less and you still got to make your bottom line number, well, then you got to cut expenses. Right? Again, I'm not trying to do a math equation here, but this does make sense, right? If you set your budget based on your projected revenue, and now you learn your projected revenue is going to be lower, well, to meet that bottom line number, you got to cut expenses. Otherwise, you're losing money. So how do you cut expenses? That's what the Big Ten looked at today. They said, we can cut 2 games that we know we're not going to make money if we're not going to have fans in the stands. We can cut 2 games where we're going to have to pay 7 figures each game to these opponents. Let's save $2 to $3 million on our balance sheet. Makes sense. If the SEC did the same, again, it's not that they're losing money. It's they're cutting an expense to make the bottom line number what it needs to be to function within the athletic department. But the point I've mentioned all along, like I mentioned this in hour 1, I mentioned it, I'm sure, yesterday at some point. I've probably mentioned it every day for the last 4 months. They're going to play football because they have to play football. And when you look around, every other sport is playing. Basketball is playing. Baseball is playing. Soccer is playing. Hockey's resuming. There's MMA, and there's boxing, and there's golf, and there's tennis, and there's every other sport. They're all playing. Why is it a different standard for football? Football's going to play. There's going to be a season because there has to be a season. How does it look? That's been my point all along. I don't know how it looks. Are there some fans in the stands? Are there no fans in the stands? Is it a 12-game schedule? Is it a 10-game schedule? Is it conference only? I don't know. The thing that I think everyone sort of agreed upon is that we don't know how it's going to look, and it's probably going to look different. And clearly for the Big Ten, it will, and we'll see if other leagues follow suit. Brett McMurphy of Stadium Sports just a bit ago said the ACC is expected to follow suit with the Big Ten and play a conference-only schedule, and that they would allow Notre Dame, they would help Notre Dame as much as they can to play as many of those games as they can. Notre Dame, of course, doesn't have a conference schedule, but they play half their schedule a year against ACC schools. So that would assist the ACC in essence. So I don't know. That's a roundabout way of answering the question, Trey, but I do appreciate the question. It's a really good one. It's not about the SEC losing money because the SEC isn't going to lose money. The Big Ten isn't going to lose money. When you've got that much, that gigantic of a media rights deal, and if you play, you can sell ads. Think about it. Like, we're the LSU flagship for radio. Well, the LSU Sports Radio Network obviously can air its games, and they can sell advertising, and they can sell in-stadium advertising that, while it wouldn't be seen by the people in the stadium, would be seen on TV. We talked about this with the NFL. Why is the NFL putting tarps over the first 8 rows of seats in every stadium? Because they're going to put ads on those tarps so it can be seen by millions of eyeballs that aren't in the stadium that are watching at home. They're replacing a revenue source. It's business. It's what they're all doing right now. And the thing that I'm seeing is this avalanche of it's the coronavirus. It's not the coronavirus. Like, obviously that is the seminal point that started the entire avalanche, but this isn't a decision made to keep student athletes safe. I mean, if you wanted to keep student athletes safe, you wouldn't have class in person, you wouldn't have sports at all, but everything's returning. I mean, I'm not saying it's disingenuous and they want people to get sick, but don't tell me that it's an effort to not travel as much. I mean, I just laid out the distance in the travel in the league, which in the Big Ten, which is absurd. You're going to tell me Notre Dame and Wisconsin can't travel a couple of 100 miles to go play in Lambeau, but Maryland can travel damn near 2,000 miles to go play Minnesota in a conference game? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, get real with yourself. Like, look at what's actually transpiring here. One other really, really interesting question, and this is where I obviously have no legal background, so I could not answer this, but I do think this is the singular seminal question that is going to come out of today's news. And Ross Dellinger tweeted it. Ross has done a good job being all over this, as you'd expect he would. But Ross tweeted, this was at 3:29 Central, so about 2 hours ago. This is after the Big Ten has announced that they're canceling non-conference games, which obviously, as we've talked about, is negatively going to affect the group of five, which relies on those guarantee games to fund their athletic department. Ross tweeted, a group of five AD on cancellation of guarantee game contracts costing his and other group of five athletic department millions. Quote, so do we end up in court? My guess here is that the Big Ten athletic directors, the Big Ten conference commissioner, the university presidents, everyone who collectively made this decision for the Big Ten today, they've considered and been advised on all of the legalities of potentially canceling these games. In many instances, as we learned with LSU and McNeese a few years back when the game was canceled because of lightning, there was an insurance policy that paid out on that game in case if it didn't happen. Perhaps this is a similar thing here where an insurance policy would pay out, but it wouldn't cost, obviously, the university anything. But that's the obvious question. The group of five prepared to sue for that money? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's how they function. They have to have it. It's the thing that funds their athletic department. And now Big Brother's going, I don't care. We got to get ours too. So where does it end? Does it end up in court? Do insurance policies pay out? I don't know, but my guess is there's really smart people operating the Big Ten that have considered every one of these questions, and that answer is going to be satisfactory to them, be it you can't sue me or we have insurance that takes care of it or whatever it may be. But make no mistake, y'all, this is a dollars and cents game that's happening right now. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. I always love sharing great success stories. How about my own? About 4 years ago, called Insurance Network of Louisiana. Actually, I didn't even call them. They called me about potentially doing advertising. I was like, well, if I'm going to advertise with you, I want to go through this process. So I gave them my information, what I had with State Farm for years. They ran the numbers, came back. I'll be damned. I thought they were going to pitch me something. They had 3 sheets of paper sitting in front of me. He goes, here's all the options we found that are better than what you have. And they showed the bottom line where I was going to add $1,600. I'm sorry, I was going to add $1 million in coverage and save $1,600 a year. I was like, you serious? I didn't even get it. I had no concept of it. And maybe you're like I was 4 or 5 years ago. But I'm telling you, it's so worth that making that phone call. See if they can shop independently for you to find you better coverage for less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. All right, it's after further review. I'll step aside, unless if you want to jump aboard, I'll step aside from the Big Ten conversation. When we come back, Ed Ogeron talked not only about his center position, but also about Miles Brennan. That was in an interview he did yesterday on a Sports Talk on WWL. So we'll get to that in just a little bit when we come back. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Also, Pro Football Focus has put pen to paper and run their metrics to find out the best and worst case scenarios for the Saints in 2020. I want to delve into that as well when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Think real estate? Think Darren James. Need to sell your home? Call Darren James. If you've had other realtors in the past, if you've tried to do the for sale by owner thing, think real estate? Think Darren James. You can go to agent225.com, agent225.com, tap our listings there at the top of the page, and you'll see every home listed by Darren and his team right there. Look, a lot of people try to do the buy owner thing. 73%, this is the actual number, 73% of people who list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. Maybe you don't have time to do all the showings. Maybe you just don't know how to price your home properly, whatever the case may be. But nearly 3 out of 4 for sale by owner homes end up hiring a realtor. Save yourself the time. Save yourself the aggravation. Get results. Think real estate. Think Darren James. 335-7666. 335-7666. Think real estate? Think Darren James.
I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I rolled along. You know, one question that I wish more people would ask is ask the players if they want to play. That's the one group we really haven't zeroed in on to say, hey, what do you think, the players, like collectively? I mean, they're telling you by their actions. Actions do speak louder than words. I mean, look at every sport, all these guys that are playing collectively. But even Marcus Spears tackled this on ESPN radio, where he said, when he was playing, that if it were up to him, he'd be out there right now.
I don't know about you two guys, but I wasn't that smart at 17, 18, 19 years old. I wanted to play football. I wanted to use every opportunity I had to try to further my career and go pro. And being that it was available to go play, I would have played. Now, I can speak now as a 37-year-old and say, man, I wouldn't have played and I would have evaluated the entirety of the situation. But I know my damn self, I would have definitely been out there getting ready for a football season.
And that's what most are doing right now. Let me remind you about Dead Soxy real quick. Share this news with you. Dead Soxy, they give a gift to every guest on AFR. Premium dress socks, the mid-calf and the no-shows. I got some blue ones on today with really cool designs. But check them out, man. I told you all this is a great COVID story. I'm proud to be partnered with them. Dead Soxy essentially slashed their entire pricing model to just cover costs so they could move product and not have to lay anybody up. They made no money. It was just, let's cover costs so that way we can keep all of our employees, and they did that. And both the owner of the company, the head of marketing, expressed to me individually that our audience here on AFR was a massive reason why that company is still in business today. And they said, Matt, we promise you forever, we're going to take care of your audience. So we will always make sure that you have like special pricing for your audience always. And true to their word, they've resumed normal operations now, but they've given us a promo code. It's GO, GEAUX. Use the promo code GO, and you'll save 30% off any order. So deadsoxy.com if you need a gift for that man in your life or woman. I mean, the no-shows are great as well. Deadsoxy.com, SOXY, deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code GO, GEAUX, and save 30% off your order of any size at deadsoxy.com. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me run to the phones and get Ryan, who's in Denham, who's been waiting. Hey, Ryan, thanks for the call, man. You're up. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, good evening, Matt. I was just, doing my own research, and of course, I saw you and Russ Mitchell talking about it yesterday, and there's been multiple conversations.
We were yelling about it yesterday.
Yeah. It was good. It was good entertainment, though. It really was. But really speaking, in literal sense, the World Health Organization, just between October of last year and April of this year, on a low end, had 40 million cases in those handful of months of influenza, and on the high end, almost 70 million. So even with a lower death rate, you have more deaths from just your regular seasonal flu globally than you've had of COVID-19 since March, in that same time span. So I don't understand why you would shut things down because of inherited risk that already exists on a lot of different fronts that confront football season and all sports every single year, anytime there's human interaction. I just don't understand the logic behind it at all.
Ryan, part of listen, I mean, we're obviously not a healthcare show, but and one of the reasons I've tried to avoid this particular conversation over the last months, but one of the reasons that you will hear people say is that COVID is X times more contagious than influenza, and then people also bring up the fact that there is a flu vaccine. You can get a flu shot. The part that bothers me, Ryan, is that last year in our country, 46% of Americans got a flu shot, which meant a majority, 54% of Americans, did not get the flu vaccine that was available. And while, yes, the overwhelming majority of people that get influenza survive, as is the case with, as we've seen with COVID-19, the bottom line is that if you are someone who is in an at-risk category, that it doesn't matter if it's COVID-19, if it's influenza, if it's RSV, if it's SARS. There's so many different threats to people who are at risk and in a high-risk category. And I know that personally because of Drew, because of my son. So that was one of the reasons I got a little uppity yesterday about that part of it. But nonetheless, man, look, like I said from the beginning of this, Ryan, in many instances, sometimes, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. And, as a society, we've learned to live with influenza for 100 years. And we'll get there with COVID-19 as well. But the real answer to your question is because it's new and people are trying to learn stuff. But I appreciate the call. Thanks for taking the time, man. But I think you and I are probably speaking the same language. The point that I made Tuesday when I was talking about, the letter Cleo Field sent and on is just collectively as a society, let logical people inform themselves and make the best decision for them. I don't need a politician or a conference commissioner or a university president or anybody telling me what to do with my life. So that's my point on it. But again, not trying to go down that road again today, but I think everybody knows at this point where we all stand on the issue, and I'll maintain what I've maintained all along. They're going to play football. The biggest underlying takeaway from today's Big Ten news is they're going to play football. I mean, that's all. They're going to play football. So, yes, they're going to play. How does it look when we get to September or October? We'll see, but they're going to play football because they got to play football. All right, it's after further review. Speaking of playing football, when LSU does play football, Miles Brennan is going to be under center for the Tigers. And Ed Ogeron on WWL with Bobby and Christian discussed his junior quarterback.
They like him a lot. He's running the summer practices. They're throwing on their own. And, everything is going good. He's showing tremendous leadership. He is up. He has gained weight. He is 218 pounds. I think he came to us, I don't know, $160, $170. So far he showed tremendous leadership. But as you all know, just like Joe did, this became Joe's team when we beat Georgia. I think Georgia, his first year with us, was ranked number 2 in the country. This became his team when you win the big game. Miles is going to have to win the big game to prove that he can be the quarterback. I mean, that's just part of it.
And that's something Ed said all along. And it's true. Ultimately, the proof will be in the results. And you're not going to have to wait long. Week 2, Texas will be in Tiger Stadium September the 12th. And that'll be an awesome opportunity for Miles Brennan to propel this team into the rest of September, October, before they head to Gainesville, which that will be really the one everyone circles. LSU should get past Texas in Tiger Stadium. If and when they do, you look at that trip to Gainesville. That was a trip up for Joe Burrow and the Tigers back in 2018. Burrow had a couple of interceptions in the fourth quarter of that ball game, and LSU came up short. They were able to put it together, and he really started to ascend in November. But that'll be a big spot, obviously, for Miles Brennan. Ed Ogeron also did an interview on Fox Sports where he talked about the expectations for the guys who are going to have to step up this season to replace the 20 guys that are off to the NFL.
LSU standard performance. Hey, next man up. We don't blink. And look, hey, this is a great opportunity. We got a lot of hungry guys on this football team. Reggie, these guys, we have a great roster right now. We got talent we've had in any years I've been here, except the quarterback position. That is the position that's going to have to show up in order for us to have success. I really believe we're going to be better on defense. We didn't play to the standard that we wanted to play on LSU defense last year. That's the reason I brought Bo Pelini. We went to the 4-3 defense. I think we'll be much better on defense this year.
Going to be much better on defense this year. You won a national title a year ago. You lost Grant Delpit, Christian Fulton, Rashard Lawrence, Braden Fajoko, Patrick Queen, Jacob Phillips, Michael Divinity, Caleb Von Chasson. You're going to be better on defense this year. You can tell he's jacked up about it, man. And the Dave, it also underscores again, the Dave Aranda decision in part wasn't just Dave looking to move on. In part it was that, but it was time for both of them. Ed wanted to change, and certainly Dave had an opportunity to move on, and it worked out really well for both. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. Not just windows. They're windows, doors, and siding. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You want to lower your home's energy bills? Install energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. Want to beautify the entrance to your home? How about a brand-new entry door with the with this locked-in color technology? It comes finished in whatever color you want. Beautiful forever. Take it off the hinges, throw it in a lake for 20 years. Take it out, hang it back on. It will never rot. Lifetime warranty. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, coming down the home stretch, final segment of a Thursday edition of AFR. When we come back, we will do Jimmy Ott will join us for Otter Locks. And if you're a degenerate, you need something to bet on tonight, Jimmy will have you covered. And we'll also do what we learned. So that'll wrap us up next. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Hey, if you're looking for dinner plans, Pluckers is always an awesome option. Bluebonnet, excuse me. Nicholson just south of campus and Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall, Louisiana. I got my street wrong. But what never is wrong is when you order Spicy Ranch, Gold Rush, Garlic Parm, Medium, Buffalo, whichever is your favorite. They've got it. 24 different flavors. And one of the really cool things about Pluckers that we probably don't talk about enough, anything you want, if you want to create a menu item, they'll do it for you. You want to mix sauces, they'll do it for you. You want to kind of create your own sandwich, Pluckers will do it for you. Get creative with the menu. It's at Pluckers, either location. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. You can dine in or carry out. They got catering trays available as well at Pluckers. So if you're having a party, a get-together, and you want food for your masses, you'll have it at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in or carry out. Pluckers, you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, Otterlocks.
Before we get to Jimmy, real quick, if you're listening to us on our New Orleans affiliate, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans, fired up for this for the first time in 4 months. Tonight, it's Pelicans Weekly. Of course, the Pels are in the bubble, so Graf and the gang will be there again. They'll be joined by David Griffin for the first ever Inside a Bubble interview. So David Griffin will join Graf for Pelicans Weekly immediately following AFR on 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. If you're with us in Baton Rouge, coming up next, it'll be Game Time with Jimmy Ott. Ott, what's up,
Otterlocks.
What's CB? You got our bed, CB. Hit me with my music bed. All right, Jimmy. Lock at a wing. La Lithuania tonight. Who we taking?
Liverpool, baby. Liverpool. Well, they got their act back together after about a week-long party, man. They are rolling. Don't bet
How
against them the rest of
did
the way.
the ping pong bet you gave everybody last night play out? Russian ping pong. Did you cash?
No, we gave out the matchups yesterday for the first round in the PGA Tour in Illinois. 2-1. Matsuyama 5 under. He beats Justin Thomas. He was catching 1.5 strokes, and Victor Hovland over John Rahm. John Rahm was throwing down his driver.
Incredible.
Today, he was rolling.
He was rolling. Unbelievable. Couldn't believe it.
3 under, and then he just falls apart. Brooks Koepka, who was a very popular pick.
Mortal lock.
Terrible today. Terrible.
Oh, I mean, that's what I meant. He was a mere mortal, not a mortal lock. That's what I meant. Terrible.
Are you following, or are you just
No,
just
of
trying
course
to
not. Why would I follow golf right now? I'm not following golf on a Thursday afternoon. No, I'm not. I got the Big Ten canceling games and whatnot. I ain't following golf right now.
Yeah. Kind of big.
Yeah, a little bit.
So Handy's back. He's over here with us today.
Oh, no, wait. Where are you tonight?
Jolly Pearl Oyster Bar.
Oh, what an awesome spot, man. God, I love Jolly
Oyster
Pearl.
specials, $1 on a half shell, $1.50 on the char grilled, drink specials all night. And, since these adjustments were made when Handy was on vacation on the beach complaining about the sand, we decided to have it's kind of Handy's return. We've kind of branded it. So he's here, and he's excited.
Jolly Pearl's a great spot, man. I love getting out in downtown, man. Right there on Main, right? The entrance on Main. It's a great spot.
North facing Town
north.
Square.
I get some streets confused, but I know where it is. Right there on Town Square. There's like
across from the new library.
That doesn't fall down. Exactly right. It's a great spot.
That's right.
You can't miss it.
Hydraulic jacks are gone. The aesthetics are just overwhelming.
There's some people have no idea what we're talking about, but Baton Rouge built a library that couldn't stay up, and they had hydraulic jacks it was foundationally anyway. Why are we building libraries? It's 2020. The computers. We don't need libraries. Nobody reads books. We have libraries.
And they have like 4 or 5 prime parking spots saved for book drop-off. No kidding. Hey, but you know what? I guess we can maybe get a schedule for the Big Ten and start putting out some of these college football win totals, because that's held
true.
off. So, they've been and how about some of the games, too? Some of the early games?
Yeah.
Some of the sports books are putting out the game must be completed by March 31st.
Oh, so they're looking at a potential spring?
I mean, that's just they're just kind of covering their tracks a little bit, but they have to put something on there if it's brought all the way back to the next year. But
makes sense.
That's interesting. The win totals have been out and have been consistent for all the sports books for the NFL, but for college football, they've kind of taken them down. They put them out early, and so they've been taking them down because most people thought there would be some sort of adjustment with the college football season.
Interesting.
If any at all.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that is really interesting. All right, so what are we betting on tonight, Otter?
I don't have anything for you tonight. Because
I wanted some Russian ping pong. All right, well, game time with Jimmy Ott. That's coming up immediately following us on ESPN Baton Rouge. Again, in New Orleans, you'll get Graf talking some Pels as well. Otter, have a great show with Hanny. Tell Island Hanny that Josh Rosen is not free, and the Saints are good at quarterback anyway.
He's got his black shirt on, but he's got flip-flops on. So here we go.
I would expect
Thank
nothing
you,
less.
Hanny. Open toes.
All right, Otter, we'll see you, man. Thanks. Have a good show. All right, that is Jimmy Ott again. Game time with Jimmy. I keep wanting to say game night. And by the way, they are streaming on Facebook Live as well if you want to watch Otter and Hanny. Game time with Jimmy Ott. Search that on Facebook. Like their page. Follow it. All the good stuff. You can watch them there as well. All right, let's go around the room. What did we learn today? CV, your first day back. What did you learn today?
I learned that Mike Detillier is bilingual.
El Zippo.
Paul, what did you learn today?
I learned that there's an athletic conference named the CIAA.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I've heard of the Colonial, but the CIAA, I had no idea what that even was. So, all right, CV, this is where you hit our After Further Review song for the outro. We'll go out.
Oh, you're talking the new one.
The new After Further Review song. Yeah, hit me with that. Yeah, little Toby Tom play. There it is. And then you asked me, Matt, what did you learn today?
Matt, what did you learn today?
I learned that the Redskins were previously called the Boston Braves. I didn't know that.
How about that?
Y'all have an awesome night. Shout out to the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 for a Friday edition of AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you once again about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. 2 locations, Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. You can find them online at theantiagingclinics.com. They have been named the #1 aesthetic practice in America. It's incredible. The volume of hormone replacement therapy clients that they have, biggest in America. It's incredible the practice that Dr. Todd Howell has built at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, helping people look and feel their best. This month, all throughout the month of July, laser hair removal. Guys, back hair, shoulder hair, you get it. Some guys who work at a plant who have to shave their beard every day, you want to take care of that? Laser hair removal. Ladies, you never want to shave your legs again? Laser hair removal. Buy 2, get 1 free all throughout the month of July. Learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare.